And tax-free if you don't use, if you use after-tax money.
The workshop meeting of the Park District of Highland Park is called to order at 6:03 PM. Brian, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bernstein?
Here.
Commissioner Flores Weisskopf?
Here.
Commissioner Grossberg? Here. Vice President Ruttenberg? Here. President Kaplan?
I'm here as well. Are there any additions to the agenda? Hearing none. Park operations, golf operations, construction update.
Molly, should we share your news with the board?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I figured that.
I'm expecting a baby for those.
Oh, Mazel Tov. Simon Tova, Mazel Tov.
Thank you. Okay, so for park and golf golf maintenance facility, the operations building.
Oh, we have it here.
So the retaining wall is complete. This was the picture that I showed at our.
Speaking of retaining, when are you due?
What? Oh, when am I due? Oh, early December.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the project will be.
It'll be almost done. Yeah, just kidding. It's in good hands.
Good.
So this was the picture that I showed our last update. So this was the beginning of the retaining wall. So the retaining wall is now complete. It really gives a good picture of what the site is going to look like. So the site is really taking shape. So right now we are getting ready for the installation of the footings to start erecting the precast walls that are going to make the shell of the building. But we're working with our architecture team and our contractors to make sure that we're installing those correctly with the real-time placement of the retaining wall. So in the next, or this week, we're moving forward with site concrete. So here's the top of the site. So it's on the top of that retaining wall. So they're going to start this week with curbing, concrete curbing, and installing the slabs for the storage containers, the outdoor storage containers where we're going to hold mulch and different outdoor materials, along with the pad for the gas tank. We're hoping to start the footings at the end of this week, and we're still looking like we're on track for a mid to towards the end of August installation, or like erecting the precast walls. So looking at the financial report, not much has changed here. You can just see that the construction cost is going up, or not the cost is going up, but that we are expending more dollars in construction now. Any questions?
2.
Yeah.
Any surprises? So far?
I wouldn't say that we have any surprises. I think that we're working with the retaining wall and how it was installed to make sure that we're putting the footings correctly. I would say that that's the unknown.
So when are we going to know about the stability? I know that you have to go down, you really have to drill down to get stable soil. When are we going to know if there's any surprises with that part of the project?
So that was the aggregate piers that
Yeah.
we installed. And Andy, if I'm saying anything incorrect, please chime in. But those aggregate piers were, so I wish I had another picture to show you, but they put like 300 of those in the ground, and it was just, it's like aggregate, like a gravel almost. And that's what stabilizes the soil.
So that's been done?
That's been done, yeah. So that's what's going to stabilize the ground on which the footings and the building are going to be on.
And how do we know that that's worked?
They've been doing measurements. We got measurements from the contractor that did the aggregate piers to confirm that.
So once they start putting the walls up, that's when we'll...
Right, and so that's what we're doing right
Hopefully
now.
everything's going to work and it's not going to sink.
Yeah, this is a critical time
And-
right now.
Right, that's what we're doing right now. We're going back to the structural engineer. We're talking with the with the contractor of the retaining wall to make sure that where we place those footings is in fact good, and that the stability of the walls and the soil is good.
Any feedback from the neighbors?
So far, no feedback pertaining to the construction of the building. There was some flooding issues around there, but it was not.
It was unrelated.
It was unrelated to the
Yes.
project.
We were blamed, but it was unrelated.
Did we have the 2 days of the trucks?
We did.
Any complaints or any?
Just-
I know that's you. I
Yeah.
get my projects mixed up.
Just one guy had no problem with it. We had a lady she was unrelated. She was just the beeping noise. Just one noise went in, but she was after I talked to her, she was all good.
All right, good.
And when's the landscaping going?
In the pogo?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to happen later. So
Is it going to happen before winter when the leaves come down?
I don't anticipate that's when. I think we're going to be doing the landscaping in the spring.
Spring.
In the spring?
Yeah, you're talking about all the trees that are going in the
Yes.
perimeter of.
Yeah, just to
that will,
screen it.
That will likely, if I'm recalling our schedule correctly, that's going up after the building is open in the early spring.
Okay, my suggestion is that we put something out on our website that indicates that the landscaping will be installed in the spring, because all of a sudden, when the leaves come off the trees and the neighbors are going to see this building there, or someone's going to see this building and say, where's the landscaping? Why am I seeing the building? And if we have at least something on our website that indicates that there's landscaping to come, that we're hopefully they'll check at that before they start calling us and calling the mayor and saying that we're bad neighbors.
Or we'll know what the answer is.
Okay, thank you.
Got it, thanks.
Thank you. That's all I that's all
I
I
have a question.
Yeah.
We're putting a gasoline storage tank outside.
That's right.
Are we putting it within a fence, or how's it going to be, when you look at it, what are you going to see? From
Well-
off the property?
Off the property, you're not going to see it because it's behind the building. So it's
Behind the building, which direction?
South.
South?
Yeah.
Yes,
South.
south.
Is this
So
looking north
so the
or south?
building.
Yeah, it's looking north.
This is looking
That's the
north.
water park. That's the water
so
park
the
there.
building's on the north side of the property,
Right.
and the gas tank is on the south side of the parking lot that is hidden by the building. So
But what about from the west?
that's the landscaping, and the grade change is the screening.
So there should be adequate.
Yeah, and that was something that was reviewed also through the design review process, and the city has regulations on screening, so.
Liza, when you put that on the website, have a link to the landscape plan. So if someone's fishing around on our website, or we can always say, why am I seeing this? Go look at the website. There's a link to the landscape plan. This is what's going to look like in the spring once the trees get installed.
How many neighbors are we talking about?
There's a lot over there.
People within direct shot.
I think it's around 200 homes, if I'm
Okay.
recalling
So
correctly.
at least we have that on our
within
website.
like a 200,
Yeah.
or I think it's 400-foot radius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good idea.
And notify the city too, where it is, so when they get called, that they know where they can answer the questions.
It's hard to believe we're talking about the leaves coming off
Yeah,
the
but
trees.
before you know what's going to happen, and they're going to start
I know.
complaining.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You ready, Ryan? Yep. Okay. Sunset Valley Golf Course.
So last time I presented to you guys at a workshop meeting, we got 6 to 7 inches of rain that night, and
Oh, it was that.
needless to say, we were underwater for like 3 to 4 days. I think it finally receded from the course on Saturday, and it was just 6, 7 inches of rain. I mean, crazy amount of water. The good thing is our neighbor at Bobolink, they were underwater too, and all their turf survived. And we're putting in the same type of turf that they got. So that's a good thing. It's going to survive under water for multiple days. Because I think one of the we're still, once that canal gets out, we still are going to flood. We're not going to not flood because we still will flood. But here is, I know these pictures are a little tough, and I know I want to take you guys out here because you can kind of see it a lot better. But 11 Green, behind 11 Green, if you can kind of visualize where that is, there was a lot of cuts made behind 11 Green, and this will be kind of a storage area for water that's out of play to hold water when we do get some heavy rains. And 11 Green, the backside's kind of elevated that green, so when you're on the tee box, you can kind of see it better. Here is Green's mix being added to 10 Green, and we used Jaeger Road over on the other side. When we sent that flyer out for 2 days, we used that road to come in. It's just easier to get these trucks in to fill with the greens mix. And to give you an idea, there's probably 20 trucks per green for pea gravel and greens mix. That has to go in to fill these. So it's a lot of maneuvering around.
They have also been using Bobolink
Yes.
more than we had expected because of their ability to get across the course with the conditions that we've had. We have received no complaints at all from that side of the.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
proceeding with caution.
So they've got like 5 more greens left to do, and then that's it. And then it's just bunker sand, which is a lot
White
less.
sand?
Close. Tan. They're going to finish up the pond expansion on 12 on Thursday. So they got 2 more days of hauling over here. So everything they dig out here will hold more water here, but this is what creates all the mounding over between 10 and 17, 8 and 9. If you guys can visualize that over on the north side of the golf course. What's out of the floodplain, we can kind of create those tall mounds to kind of separate the holes. And I got a picture of that real quick. So here. So this is 10T. So remember 10T, you could kind of see 17 fairway. Well, this mound right here, you really can't see that anymore.
Is that similar what's like at Sportsman's where they have those mounds all over Sportsman's?
Yeah, but I haven't been there, but I'm assuming it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So here is this is a unexpected change that we ran into that you'll see on your the board packet where some existing drainage that we had to fix. This was probably a 1920 pipe. It was a CMP pipe that was 14.
Original.
Yeah, this was an original that was eroded. I mean, if you can think of 7 fairway, it was only 4 inches. When we dug through that, it was only 4 inches from the topsoil. From the top of the fairway down, it was 4 inches there.
It was an irrigation pipe?
No, this is, a Foley's Pond drains into 1. So this pipe, if Foley's Pond overflows, so this pipe is like a overflow to the canal that runs
Wow.
across. So if that,
That's so cool.
If you
Yeah.
hadn't caught this, what would have happened?
we would have tied into this and nothing would have drained.
But how could you have missed it? You said it was
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
I mean,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
No, I'm saying
Like,
if we
Cal,
didn't do
there's
this
your surprise.
project.
You're
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
If we didn't do this project and this continued to erode,
We would have been
Wet.
wet.
Wait, so this pipe went from Foley's Pond to the canal?
This pond goes from Foley's Pond to 1. Well, I shouldn't say.
The
It goes from Foley's Pond to 1 pond, and then this connects into 1 pond. The pond on 1, I don't know what pond exactly the name of that is, and then it goes all the way to the canal.
So it cuts across the entire
It cuts and
From 10 from
but there's
7?
nothing under it. There's no pipe to Foley's Pond. The
Oh.
pond, the pipe in Foley's Pond, just drains into this pond. So if
Okay.
Foley's Pond overflows, instead of going to the neighborhoods, it goes to the golf course, and this that pipe catches all that. So it doesn't.
So
So it doesn't go across the turf.
So now what happens if Foley Pond floods?
It's all fixed.
It's all fixed.
It's all fixed. It's all done. It's all good. We're good.
Okay. What's in the pipes? Where to go?
I want to give you like an illustration of some of the stuff we run into where is unexpected, and this is why we carry that contingency to fix these, because you can't grow grass without a good drainage,
Yeah.
and that's what we got to put in, is good drainage system.
Did we find any
grow.
more pipes going from Bobolink onto Sunset Valley?
No.
Okay, we just did those just one or two.
Yeah, just those one or two.
Yeah, okay.
And this I thought was pretty cool. I just added this in. But you don't often see $3 hanging together.
Captions?
Huh?
Are these your captions?
Yeah, this is $3 meandering through the golf course. Yeah. But you never really see $3 hanging out together, though, so I just thought that was pretty cool.
Hey, they're missing one more.
Yeah, they need to force.
I know, yeah, they need to force him, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They're looking for a single.
But
I thought it was more like it's a gathering place.
Yeah, exactly.
Families come together.
So
You'll see that next.
I want to just describe. So right now we're in the most critical phase of the project, the seeding phase, and creating the bunkers and doing all the final prep. But before we can do that, the city of Highland Park requires us to get, since we are in a 70% of floodplain, we have to get a survey of each hole before we can seed it. So we have to survey everything. Well, we don't. The contractor does. Survey everything prior to seeding. So it goes from their surveyor to our Gowalt Hamilton surveyor. They double check it, and then as long as they prove everything, then we'll seed and go from there.
Are we getting?
Elevations and slope.
Yep,
So
everything. Yeah.
Epitope. Are we getting as-built drawings at all on these?
Yeah, well, we're going to get everything.
Did we pay for extra? Didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We're
remember
going to
like
get
extra
because
$12,000.
right now it's like almost like a crapshoot because you don't know where anything's at. So now we'll have a history of where all these drain lines are, where
That's an
everything's
extra.
at, which is huge. So if we do have to add extra drainage in the future, we know where everything's at, where we can tie into very, very easy without destroying
I
anything.
remember that now. Okay. Go ahead.
So they'll start seeding hopefully by the end of next week, and then try to do 3 holes a week and finish by the end of September.
Can I ask about next 2018?
Yep.
Again, since I wasn't here at the beginning of that, the timeline is to open in July.
Correct.
What is right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So what is happening between April and July?
So what we'll have to do is we want the grass to really root down as far as it can go to withstand all the traffic, because once we open, everybody's going to want to play. All these carts are going to be wanting to go everywhere. People are going to be playing all the time. So we want to make sure the grass can withstand that, can hold up to that.
Got it.
Cart traffic, people traffic, everything. Because if we open too soon and it can't handle that, then it'll just deteriorate. And it's like, you don't want to have to do it all over again.
Okay. That's the
So-
question I get.
Yeah, so we want to be very, very careful of opening too early. There's always, I think Glenview opened, but they were cart path only for a while, walking only. They opened for walking for like a month or a couple weeks, and then they let carts go. So you just want to be careful with that. But we'll know when the time is right to open
How
it.
can
So
you
you're
tell?
saying, oh, go ahead.
Huh?
How can you tell?
The routes, how far the routes are. And then I'll have somebody come in and from the USGA or just to help make that decision
Okay.
when we're ready.
Sorry.
So are you saying that it's potentially, we could say it's open in July, but we may have to say it's walking or
Potentially, yeah. But I mean, if it's a warm spring and grass is really growing fast, it'd be better. But if it's like this spring, it's cold and wet, the turf might not be growing as quick as we'd like it to.
When is it going to look like a golf course?
This fall.
This fall? So
Yeah.
let's say like the
Yeah.
end of October? I mean, how quickly does the
Well,
grass grow?
Okay, so the first hole they seed is going to be 3, and they're going to work their way south to north. So they're going to do 3, 2, 5, and they'll work their way to the north side. So potentially, you're going to come out, let's just say the end of September, and you're going to look at 3, fairway, green, everything will be like, oh man, we can play off this right now. But
Yeah.
but it'll slowly, we'll be mowing a green in like 2 weeks after seeding, because you want to start mowing it because it all knits together. That bent grass will just knit together, so you want to keep mowing it, and then it'll be like, we'll have to, make sure people don't come on the golf
Yes.
course and try to vandalize or anything like that.
That was a question I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Let me jump into that. What are we going? Do we have plans to? I'm going to use the word patrol to keep people off during the winter to
So
Fence,
that's a great question.
people with skis.
So I know they've done in the past, like, we have some snow fence to put around the greens at least. So there's no cross-country skiers out there just skiing right over the greens.
I tried.
Because that's not what you want.
I tried.
But that's my only idea, because I don't think we can monitor it 24/7.
No, but we can certainly message it as best we
We
can.
can,
via
yeah.
Our website.
And have signage.
Yeah.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, I've already made a note to get, because the message next spring will be critical so that people understand why we're closed, to have that on the website and the
Yeah.
emails to the golfers and all of that to let them know what's going on. But we will also need to get the message out how critical it is that people stay
Correct.
off and
To the neighbors who use it for walking paths.
Well, yeah.
Well, they
Right.
can walk on the trails, on the cart.
And during the day,
Yes.
you guys will be around.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
But
it's
in
after
the
hours.
after
and,
hours
yeah.
and stuff
So
like that where
We'll have to
you
be
hope that everybody
Or
is.
walking their dogs there.
Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
be vigilant.
So on that point, when the clubhouse is under construction for its remodeling, where are you going to be headquartered?
Well, hopefully Poco's close to being done, so we could go.
Okay.
But if it's not done, I mean,
They're-
we can
they'll
go
go
to
to
the
parks.
parks. Yeah,
Okay.
we don't have as many guys during the winter time.
Well, I'm just thinking about having a physical presence there.
Oh yeah,
They both are on smaller staffs in the winter.
yeah.
So, and if all holds true to form and we're moving in early February, it's really, March becomes more critical when both Dan Voss and
Exactly.
Ryan start to bring in additional guys, but we should be okay.
When's the demolition?
Demolition won't happen until after the move is complete, so early spring I'm anticipating. And Andy's here nodding his head yes, and so is Amalia.
And do we have a landscape plan for that area?
Clubhouse.
Minimal. Very
Yeah.
Just
minimal.
grass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of trees,
A lot of trees.
a lot of trees.
And is the landscaping, is that a continuous job throughout 2018? Or is it,
For the course.
yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, beautifying. I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah. I
finishing
mean,
touches.
that never ends. One thing I always tell like my staff is just because we're doing the project now, we're always doing we're always trying to make it better. You always got to make it better. You cannot ever be satisfied with. You always want to try to beautify a different area or just keep making it more presentable. So we'll always try to. The beautification never ends. I mean, we're always going to be trying to do. My ultimate goal is to restore that canal that runs through there and beautify that.
But plus
now.
too, Ryan, it will get more lush
Exactly.
as the seasons.
Yeah, by 2020, it's going to
forward.
look so much better than it does in
Yeah.
2018 because everything's
Yeah.
going to be growing in more.
What about the fescue? How
Fescue takes 2 to 3 years to grow in. To look really, get that golden.
Think about
Ron.
Rosewood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When we had those little seedlings, and now 2 years later, and
Yeah.
the grass is
Yeah.
really taken.
But when you guys come out, you guys are going to be amazed about all the mounding and the fairways and the elevation and it's pretty
You
spectacular.
can actually now really see oh, now I get it,
Yeah.
as opposed to when it was just dirt,
Dirt,
and
yeah.
mud puddles, and
And Jacobson's been out inspecting.
Yep. He comes out and, he always checks with me just to make sure we can maintain it. That's the biggest thing that I stress to him is can our guys maintain it
Like the
correctly?
mounds.
Yeah.
So how do you mow those and how do you maintain those?
Well, I'm going to ask for a little bit some newer machines.
The other shoe jobs.
he's already bought some.
Yeah,
They've
well, yeah,
been
no,
budgeted.
everything is all going as planned. Planned, and it's, I want to be the best. I don't think there's any reason why we can't be one of the top public courses in the area. And-
Are there grants to clean out the creek?
But that's why we're looking through that, and
We already got one for
all the
trees.
dead trees. I don't know if you guys remember from we had 118 dead trees, and we got that grant money to take those out. We took those out before the project started, so we got those out. But now I want to do like little blue stem. I want to showcase that all throughout that canal on both sides. Something that doesn't grow very tall, but can hold that lake bank together to stop the erosion. But
Will it stop the ball from going in? That's the key.
yeah, that's the
I've
key.
seen
Yeah.
it, but-
But I don't think we should pay for that. I think that should be somebody else that pays
I
for
think
that.
that's a golf joke, Barney.
I was just gonna ask about that.
Wasn't a very good one, by the way.
But I think that would look very, very nice.
So is that
Sorry.
our hidden creek?
What's that?
Is that our hidden creek that gives the name to the aqua park?
That's right. Could be.
It's not as hidden anymore.
And how the bridge is holding up.
So far, so good. Yeah, I think that's something we're
Why are you
gonna.
laughing?
Why is that important?
He's a worry wart. Let him be.
I think that's something we're gonna add in capital throughout. Just to start planning to replace some of those in the future, long term. Maybe we reduce some. Maybe do like do you know the bridge on the left side of 6? So we got 2 bridges on 6.
Yeah.
So the one on the left,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to have a stone arced bridge that you just walk across, like at Augusta.
Yes.
I think that was the one we were
big,
shutting
dream
down.
big.
I know.
Yeah, in your dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him the old Sleepy Hollow Bridge.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
He's getting out over his skis
I know.
at
Yeah. I
golf
just.
clubs
I get
now.
it. Yeah.
How about
Dream big.
the old
Exactly.
Moraine
Yeah.
Beach Bridge?
There you
We
go.
can tear that out.
I
Dream
think
big,
the
Ryan. I
vision,
love
I
to
think
hear
the
you.
Yeah.
vision, Ryan, I think the vision you're bringing is wonderful.
Thank you.
Here.
Notwithstanding the
So-
mockery that you're getting about who's going to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the visions are wonderful, and that's what we need to do.
So financially, we're under budget. We got about $272,000 in contingency left to play. We will have to on the next board packet, like our drainage will be on there that we had
change
to replace
orders.
for change order. Some of the other stuff coming up that won't be on this one, but might be on September, October, is irrigation. We've had to do some changes to irrigation just because anytime we run a drainage pipe because we don't know the depths where any of this irrigation is, sometimes it runs right into it. So if they got to make a cut or anything, it's a change. So, that adds up. So we'll have, some changes with irrigation, and then we might do a few extra areas of cart path that have gotten.
So
We're not redoing all the cart path.
Yeah. So are we handling all the water that's dumped on our course? I mean, we're not cooperating or using Bobolink as a are we somehow how the question are we interacting with Bobolink's water plan or the drainage plan with
No.
Bobolink? So we're taking care of all the water on our property,
Yep.
and Bobolink takes care of all the water on their
Correct.
property. So there should be no water going back and forth.
Nothing.
Okay, that's what I was trying to ask.
Nothing.
And it all goes south.
And all goes south.
Okay.
Ryan, was the recent flooding, did that change our plan at all? That made you go, ooh,
That's a great question, and yes. And actually, to be honest with you, if we had to flood, there's a perfect time to flood because no seed was in the ground, nothing's been final prepped, and it actually gave us a better idea of being like, for instance, 7 fairway is extremely flat, extremely. And we can't do anything about that. We can't change that topography because that's in the floodplain. And we can't make any cuts because you don't want to take that fairway down lower. So since there is no 1% slope to get the water off, what we might do towards the end of the project, so September when they get ready, before they seed it, is do perforated drain tile throughout that front half just to get the water off that fairway so grass grows so much better on that. So that's one thing
that's good.
we have.
We had that as a test.
To see,
for the future.
and we
Yeah.
have added extra drainage areas to low areas where water held after the flood to just expand upon that our drainage system that was already in there. So that was a good thing. But other than that, everything's going good, and I'm praying for some dry weather for the next 8 weeks.
Well, for your budget, you have $3 extra.
Yeah, exactly.
That was good.
Wow.
Teacher joke.
I know.
That was really
Did
good,
I
actually.
myself?
Yeah.
Thank you. If you throw enough against the wall,
Yeah.
some are bound to stick.
We're adding water, surface,
Yep.
That was really
which will
good.
mean more balls will be in the water. Do we clean that out at the end of every season,
The ponds?
the ponds?
Nope.
Do we ever? Okay, no, someone asked me that.
Yeah, no.
I had no idea.
I did that. I've done that before. At when I worked at Bel Air Country Club, we cleaned the ponds there but they refilled them with city water. And I mean, but it was
Are you talking about the balls that are in there?
the balls. I
Yeah,
thought
you always
they
talk about
come,
the
yeah,
yeah,
we
we clean those. Yeah, somebody comes get those.
The scuba guy's going there.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
All right, my two questions, any surprises besides what we've talked about?
Drainage. And
7 inches of rain.
Yeah.
That's
What
a
about
surprise.
neighbors? How are we doing with neighbors?
I mean, great. I mean, for all, I mean, we had the one lady call that lives over at the Manors, and she was just, I think she just wanted to vent about the beeping, because she said the beeping starts every morning with their machines, and I said, there's nothing we can do about it. It's safety. It's on there for safety. I said, hang in there with me for a couple more months, and they'll be out of here. And she was okay. She was like, thanks for calling me back.
Good.
So,
Good.
and that's it.
Okay.
Anybody
Is there any
else?
more pictures? Is that it?
That's it right now. I mean, the pictures don't do it justice. You got to get out there, and when we can get out there and see it, because you can really visually see it a
Right.
lot better.
So if you want to go out, let's call me, because
Yeah.
the best time to go is during the day when Ryan is there, and you can
You
see,
see everything
you can
working,
see everything,
everything.
in
It's
action.
really fascinating.
And I can take you out in twos, or ones. We're at the point now where we're getting near a really good time to start to see what's happening. So we'll set up tours starting next week.
When do we talk about carts?
We are in process right now. So we plan to talk with you, our golf liaisons.
What,
First.
getting new ones? Is that
Well,
what?
we
Yeah.
lease our carts. The question that we've left on the table, which we haven't addressed, is whether we're going to continue with gas-powered or maybe go with electric carts there.
We want to set up a meeting with you and Brian to discuss that first.
Okay.
Okay.
Because there's an infrastructure charge by putting electric carts in.
Do we allow caddies?
Yeah. Oh, really?
No,
No?
we don't.
If someone wants to bring their own
Yeah.
caddy,
Oh, they can?
Yeah.
you know, we have some that bring their sons carry their father's clubs.
I thought we used to have a caddy program. We ended it. We did, which
No,
we
you can
did.
bring your own
And
caddy.
I didn't realize I didn't know
bring
you.
your
They can caddy for Cal anytime.
Yes.
They have caddies for the North Shore.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, but
My
Yeah.
kids have caddied for the North Shore.
yeah, but that all makes for tournaments
Yeah.
and stuff. That makes sense. I don't think.
They're never,
It's, we talked about it, it's like
Jason's old enough.
$250 for an infrastructure charge.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Just because you need the housing?
No, you have to, the electrical.
We'll stay on topic, Sunset Valley Clubhouse renovation
But it's so much better. than-
project update.
That's right. Environmentally and everything, aesthetically.
Keystone again.
Costs a lot more.
Yeah.
What?
It's not just infrastructure that costs.
The leasing costs.
Okay, so just bringing the update on the clubhouse to you guys before we go to the design review committee at the city. Mainly just want to show you the exterior and how that's developed so that we can go and present to them. Just a reminder of what the facility looks like. I know that
Andy,
you
have you met Terry?
No.
Newest to our board. Terry Grossberg,
Andy
Andy
Tanucci.
Tanucci,
Hi,
and
Andy.
Evan.
Superstar, award-winning Andy Stewart.
Oh, I was going to say Terry Grossman. I'm excited to see. it.
From our superstar award-winning architect.
Yeah.
So the existing clubhouse photos really just reveal how overgrown the facility is and how impossible it is to see the clubhouse and more importantly through the clubhouse to the golf course. Just a couple of the highlights of things that we're going to try to address with the project: the number of trees, their overgrowth, the existing tent, hopefully moving it to a new location, better proximity to the course and to the clubhouse. The entry to the facilities, or namely the number of entries to the facilities, there are too many. It's hard to control. It's unclear where to go when you get to the facility, so trying to address that with the renovation. And then just the aesthetics. It's a
What?
series of...
That's really bad.
You needn't say it.
Isn't that funny?
You see.
Okay. So,
Looks like a diner.
Yes.
An IHOP.
oh, thank God that's not me.
Sorry, it's my kid.
Good caddy.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the existing site plan. we have a few different options. We have a base option for the renovation and then a few alternates, mainly just trying to be really responsible about the renovation and its costs, knowing that the golf course is, and its renovation is more important than the clubhouse, and knowing that the clubhouse comes last, there won't be, an additional source to find money. So we're just trying to draw a base option with then a series of alternates that we can add to it so that we can very responsibly just add scope as the budget allows. So here's the existing site plan of the facility, number 9 here to the north, the entry, so the overgrowth here, the inability to see through from the south parking lot, which is the primary parking lot, the inability to see through north to the clubhouse. So the first move is to remove a ton of existing trees here.
So even that very large one,
Yep.
Yeah.
that one's
Yeah.
going.
Look
So
at
the very large elm, we've just received zoning approval to remove, so we've gone through that process to get that removed.
Does that find another home, or is that like,
No.
there's nothing to do with
I
it?
think
No.
your house maybe, I mean, if you need an extra 50.
Just for the record, there is disease in that tree at the top, I believe it is.
We're gonna
Yeah,
make-
the-
So it
We're gonna
is,
make furniture out of it.
The concern was that,
Okay, I'm not a tree hugger.
We're
It
gonna
was
get
just-
those
I was just
coasters.
Well, you should be a tree
Right.
hugger.
I am
Guys,
a
we're
tree
getting
hugger.
coasters again. Remember when we got coasters?
that's buckthorn.
Buckthorn, we got buckthorn.
yeah, the concern was really just that we would spend all this money on the renovation of the course and then the clubhouse, and then the new home for that tree would be the clubhouse, the living room of the clubhouse, right, through the roof.
Not good.
So not good. So a lot of these trees, the municipality doesn't even really consider trees. Arborvitae are just overgrown bushes. But there are a few nice trees in there, a few nice maple that we will leave. But primarily what we're doing is opening up the site just so that you can see through, get a lot of nice light in there so that growing grass on the site is much easier. So that's the first move. The second is to start to get alternates into the scope. So with the base renovation, and I'll show you more detailed plans, we'll renovate the interior and exterior of the existing building. With our first and second alternate, what we'll do is build a patio around the facility so that people can get out to the outdoors and under a trellis and really experience the golf. So we did this in concert with Jacobson and the team to redesign number 9 so that actually from the north side of the clubhouse you'd be able to see the approach up to 9. And the green's actually going to be designed with a little spill area over so that balls over the green will roll down into this area so that you'll be able to see players play back up.
My ball usually ends up at the edge of the clubhouse. Anyway, but isn't it an elevated green?
It
Or
is.
it was in the past.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so the
It's
green,
gonna
the
stay
elevation of the
elevated.
green is it will stay elevated,
Yeah.
just it's natural terrain, but it's actually been brought down just by a couple feet
I see.
to give viewers a little bit better of a view, and then again, there's this sort of natural runoff that'll occur here to the south on it. Around the west, to get a lot of great views to the golf course to the west, and then the sunset in, and to the south, then to welcome players to the clubhouse. With the second alternate, so just switching back and forth, couple primary changes. One is to lose that service road here. No real need for the service road. Trying to get players to not walk around the clubhouse this direction and really separate pre-golf function on the south side of the clubhouse from during golf activities here to the north so that we don't cross streams. Get that cart queue that happens up to the north down here to the south so that players coming up can walk straight to a cart and then head out to the golf without, again, getting these kind of paths crossed. So that's alternate 3. And then with alternate 4, a couple things. The first is that we're going to try and get that tent over here in front. We'll put a decorative patch of concrete here in front and get the tent to the front of the building here. That tent will only go up for events. We'll have a trellis so that we can sit outside under shade. Players can experience the outside. But then for an event, we have a 2,000 square foot pad there for a tent that'll hold up to 150 golfers there in that area. And then lastly, the second part of this final alternate is to get a bag drop. So we'll take the handicap parking spaces here, we'll turn that into a bag drop, and then we'll move the handicap accessible spaces here in this vicinity. So those are the series of alternates with the site. The plan itself, here's the existing plan of the facility. I'm sure we're all familiar, but again, there's doorways here, 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 and around here. So we're minimizing that. Check-in is here. Restaurant is back here. We're actually going to try and flip that. So as you enter in pre-golf, we're going to move the front door here so that you come in, turn right. Here's the pro shop and check-in. Small amount of space for retail, but really not dedicating space for significant retail. Be able to come right back out, play golf on the first tee here. And then this whole area here will become dining, lounge, living room space. So there's a bar here. Seating all around, new floor-to-ceiling glass, facing the golf course, facing number 9. Restrooms will stay in the east side of the facility. Kitchen will stay where it is, but the bar will be, under-counter coolers, small amount of food service out of it. All food that's ordered will be brought from the kitchen here. There's a walk-up window, so off of 9 you can just walk up to the exterior of the building here, grab a bite and walk out. Those players that still want to come inside will be able to walk in, place an order here at the counter, head to the restroom, grab their order, and run out. So hopefully a more efficient flow. Again, separating pre-golf to the south and during golf more to the north.
What's the square footage change of the restrooms?
The restrooms just get slightly smaller.
Oh, just slightly.
Yeah, there's a
Lockers
ton of
is-
existing lockers there that are just not utilized, never used, so they get slightly smaller. The amount of fixtures remains. We still maintain showers and a small changing area in both the men's and women's locker rooms.
So locker rooms are shrinking.
Yeah. That space goes to bag storage, so there's permanent bag storage here, some additional storage. The pro's office, Rob's office, moves here. With that second and subsequent alternates, you get the patio around the perimeter, the tent area here.
Are they removing, isn't there like an island
Yes,
that's gone?
yes. So with the series of alternates,
Yeah.
there's a couple islands. The first one goes with the addition of the patio. The second one goes then when we move the cart queue down to the south. So with the patio, the first island goes. With the cart queue move, the second island goes. And that just, again, serves to open up those views from the clubhouse out to the course.
This is so helpful. I have to tell you, the way you're just able to go back and forth, it helps us visualize. I really appreciate it because I'm not familiar with the area.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
at
of
this
course.
point? Sorry.
No, not at all.
One of the comments that we received was that a foursome would come in and there were not enough facilities in the women's locker room
Mm-hmm.
for 4 people at one time.
Right.
And are we accommodating a foursome coming in off the course and all bolting to the bathroom?
I think there's only 3 fixtures. Are there 4
No,
fixtures?
I think there's 4.
Are there 4?
I think we made sure to make sure there
Okay.
was 4.
You mean restrooms?
Yeah.
Toilets.
One,
Toilets, and what does
2,
men have?
3. Is that 4? Is that 4 stalls there?
2 and 2.
This plan is.
Yeah. So there's 4 stalls there then.
Okay.
And what do the men have?
2 urinals and 2 stalls.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Wrigley Field North.
So,
Who said troughs?
Brian.
Brian.
the east parking lot,
Yeah.
is that, is part of our thing to pave that, to?
What we're doing is we're just seal coating, so we're fixing the cracks in it and just restriping and seal coating it. Not major infrastructural repairs to either of the parking lots. The parking lots are large, adequate, about 150 spaces, so plenty large to accommodate events. A lot of the spaces that are already being taken up by the parks maintenance facility to the south are gone, freeing spaces to the south, so there's a lot of capacity in the parking lots.
Yeah, I would just say that if somebody's coming to our golf course for the first time, the first thing they're going to see is our parking lot.
Yeah.
So, for whatever that's worth, I don't know that we have a dollar left for our budget, but making the parking lots look decent, I'd say would pay off for.
Well, that's what the seal coat
Right.
restriping does.
Okay.
So,
I mean, if that's-
so eventually, as if things progress, eventually that will have to be redone. But we did an analysis, and that can be kicked. That can be kicked.
But what are we doing in the south parking lot?
Same thing.
Yeah, similar.
Do we have
Yeah.
planters and aisles?
Are we keeping the island?
The island is,
South parking lot?
yes. Do you mean here, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barney,
Yeah.
what were you asking?
Well,
But there's not really planters in there. There's just a couple small islands.
so we're not,
And we're not changing the curbs or the configuration of them.
okay, at this point.
Correct.
And this is going to what you were asking, at this point, as was done on, Deerfield Road, where they have the center aisle with all sorts of planters, that's a down-the-road thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the hope with opening the site up is to try and bias that south parking lot, so as you approach, you'll get a view of the clubhouse. It will be much more open. The view through the site to the course will be more open, and players will come into the south parking lot. There'll still be a way in from the east parking lot, for sure, because I know some players just park in the east parking lot and always will. But we're trying to improve the approach from both the east and the south.
And you can still come from the south, right?
Absolutely.
Through that,
Through the
whatever that
neighborhood.
is, Gulf Road or.
Yeah, yeah.
So Terry, one of the things right now, when up until this year, because of the overgrowth, is that the parking lot, it became more prominent because you can't see the course, you can't see the clubhouse.
Yeah.
So now, when you pull in, you're gonna actually be, what's gonna be creating your focus or diverting your attention is actually the clubhouse, and you'll be able to see through the course. Hopefully, people aren't going to be looking at the parking lot under that
Right.
scenario. But we're doing what we can to clean it up. But that's a project for somewhere down, long time down the road.
And so on this picture, you're seeing the sidewalk that would lead people from the east
Yes.
parking lot. That's this gray area.
Yes.
And-
And one of the reasons we were able to remove that elm tree that is that because there's so much traffic around there that it was deemed to be unsafe to have that tree in that location, so close to the clubhouse where all the carts are and everything like that. It was deemed that it was not a safe condition. So the zoning board agreed with us and allowed us to remove that tree because you need to get a zoning variance
Yeah.
in order to
Do they-
remove a heritage
Are they
tree.
going to still have that, that little netting area to
Yes.
practice?
Hitting area, yeah.
Yes.
In that same spot?
Oh, we're moving it further south to just get it slightly further away from the first tee. It's a distraction. We heard that it was a distraction. It's currently in this vicinity right here. If we're able to move the cart queuing here, we'll push it further south down here in this vicinity
Into the area called hitting?
into the area called hitting.
And the practice tee, that, the practice green and everything, that stays basically in the same
Yeah.
spot?
Yeah, it stays
So
where it is.
see, Terry, when you come up now, before the carts were on the north side. So
Yeah.
you had to carry your bag all the way around the
Yeah.
building to the north side to put it on a cart. Now the carts are located close to the parking lots, which makes things more efficient.
Isn't that what the caddy does?
Exactly.
And one of Ryan's favorite features is that the 18th green and the practice green will now be one.
Okay.
So it'll be one giant
I remember
green.
you talking about that.
Yeah.
So Andy, I
And
have a
Perderma
question.
loves that idea.
When you say alternate, okay, is this included in the basic, what we're gonna, or is this already tacked on, like to extras when you, or is this?
The extras have all been priced. I'll show you how that builds. But again, just because we come last and there's not going to be additional pot of
Right.
money to draw from,
Right.
what we wanted to do was get a base package that we were sure the
So this
project.
is base, is this still base?
The base.
There's base and we'll get to the budget in just
Yeah.
a few minutes.
So the base is here, Lori.
Okay, I see.
Just
And
an
everything
interior
else-
and exterior renovation. The first two alternates do
Gotcha.
the
So-
patio
so
and the
that's
trellis.
not in-
No.
That's not part, okay,
Right.
that's what I wanna know.
Right. So we've got like 4 or 5 different alternates that add on and build scope as the budget allows.
Lori, similar what we did with the golf course. When we did the golf course, we had the base, and then we added a couple things on.
Right,
like, and
right,
so
we
that,
could pick and
so-
choose,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is what similar what
I
we're
just
doing.
like it all,
Yeah.
and I don't golf.
Well, we
but I
weren't
think
sure
it's
what
great.
we would be able to afford,
Afford,
but I
right.
think we're going to be in good shape
Okay.
based on
I'm curious
what
to
we've
see
got
what
going
happens.
at the
Okay,
golf
let's see.
course.
Okay, so the elevations then, here's the existing building elevations, just pretty plain, but I just want to highlight a couple things. Here is the view that you see from the south. This is the current front door with this little eyebrow over the top of it. The food service area has this kind of odd little trellis piece here on the gable end. This fence that screens the mechanical enclosure and trash, which is going to remain because that's just the service side of the building, we're going to focus on and replace. Namely, though, are the windows, The windows that face west to the golf course are sort of hip high and above, and we're going to move all of these to be floor-to-ceiling glass and really open up this entire facade. As well as on the north side, this is the side that faces the 9th green currently, where there's just these two little peekaboo windows that we're going to go floor-to-ceiling with glass in this area too. So these are the current elevations. You'll see the little nice architectural trick. You make the old elevations just black and white and kind of dull, and then you colorize the new elevations to make them look really nice. But here's what we'll see as we enter the building from the street. A new sign, the new fence. We've got better views than this. From the parking lot to the south, floor-to-ceiling glass into what will be the pro shop. Window into the dining living room area. Windows into the lounge here, and then facing out to the first tee in the west. Here you can see the difference in the amount of glazing here underneath the trellis, and then to the north facing the 9th tee, a ton more glass here. So in the base scope, the just pure base scope, we take the existing building and we renovate. Here's the floor-to-ceiling glass windows, floor-to-ceiling glass windows. It's a building that you generally recognize.
Not even real.
Take the existing color and just give it a nice new fresh coat of this beautiful kind of cool gray paint, the white trim. On the approach, you can see how much more open it is with the trees removed. There's a couple additional trees that stay left out of the renderings. They're not, blocking your view. That fence that blocks the trash enclosure, we'll build a new fence there. We'll lap it over the building slightly to integrate it with the architecture more and make it feel more like it's part of the building design versus just an enclosure. Here's the view from the south.
It's hiding the
Here's the pro shop, the new entry walk here. Here's where that tall elm currently is, but it'll just be a nice, beautiful lawn. The entry walk up from the south lot, front door has now been moved here. View into the pro shop. Here's the knee wall patio with the trellis above. Views inside. Here you are from the first tee looking at it. We'll use a natural wood, like maybe a rough sawn cedar, just kind of lightly not painted white, but stained white. So there'll be a semi-transparent stain. This will be easier to maintain. It'll keep it white for a long time without the concern of it peeling or having to worry about repainting it as often. And then at nighttime, the lights from inside as the sun sets and the players from the end of the day are still hanging out on the patio. The lights will sort of transition over and the inside lights will start to glow on the underside of the trellis.
And the idea for the trellis, obviously, it makes it not weatherproof, but is that an expense issue, or that's what you guys found you wanted? I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, it's all of these things.
Beautiful.
So mainly we're thinking about long-term maintenance. We're thinking about beauty. To keep something that's natural cedar looking, warm and natural, is a lot of maintenance. Every couple of years is a power wash and resealing it with oil. At Rosewood, we're just expecting it to go gray, but gray here would make for a pretty flat building, and we kind of want to maintain some visual interest here as you look across the golf course back to it as a bit of a beacon. So the idea of the contrast, the kind of dark gray building, and we're painting the building dark gray because it's really an amalgamation of buildings, a series of additions. So we've got some brick facade, we've got some block facade, so we're just painting all of that gray, and then the trim is white to pop, and that trellis, that wood trellis, will do that semi-transparent white stain on, and
Blue
that'll
gray.
be a long-term. What's that?
blue gray.
Blue gray, cool gray, blue gray. Yes.
That looks beautiful.
Terry, was your question about the material or the trellis?
The
fact
trellis,
of the
just the
trellis?
fact that it's a trellis, but,
Trellis provides some shade.
Yeah.
right, I get it.
Shade,
but
but
it's
lots
not-
of light, it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, I just wondered if it was a expense thing, or that's your preference. Let's say we had no limit on budget, would we have just, covered it? That's
Oh
all.
no, I think the shaded trellis is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Prefer.
all I'm asking.
Yeah.
That was intentional, in other words.
You feel like
It'll
you're
give a nice
outside, but
amount
you
of
get-
dappled
well, you are
shade through the
outside.
middle of the day when it's the hottest. As the sun comes around to the west and starts to set, no trellis is going to prevent the sun from shining in. You want to sit there in that setting sun and see that sunset. These are maybe a little small to see from here. Oh, you got it on your computer. Good. So again, some of these materials, just the dark gray painted brick, the windows, the decorative concrete out here to the west, stamped or exposed aggregate concrete where the tent is expected to be, concrete patio, painted stained trellis above. Stained fence.
Oh, the windows can open or something?
Yeah, we've got operable windows for natural ventilation.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are we doing for sunscreen?
Bird glass?
I don't think we're going to pursue the bird glass on this. Just the cost of the bird glass is such. I mean, I suppose it's something that we can look at the cost of.
It's a bird-friendly design, though.
Well,
No, there are.
no,
There's something
we've run
called
it by a few
bird-friendly
birds and
design.
they say
Yeah.
they love it.
Yes. Yeah, there is a bird-friendly
They
design.
do have those translucent stickers that you can see through. They're not.
Well, I think with the design, when we put all this material in front of the glass, then, there's going to be a lot of obstruction to the glass, too. So there'll be people in front of the glass, there'll be furniture in front of the glass. So I think that's what Cal's referring
Yes.
to as bird-friendly design. It's not that you have a huge expanse of outdoor and then just glass.
But what are you doing for screening, for sunscreen?
Well, there will be shades inside then.
Power shades?
No, I think they're just manually operated shades, though we could again look at them being power operated. But they'll run along this line here so that as the sun really starts to set, we'll be able to draw those. And they won't be blackout shades, but they'll be just shades. So they'll be, a percentage open to really, you'll still be able to get a view out, but it'll.
Like at the rec center?
No.
No?
No, those are power operated.
No, but that kind of
That-
shade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of material and shade.
See
Opaque.
through it?
Yeah, you can see looking out through them,
Okay.
but they block the majority of the sun and glare coming in. They could be motorized. It's just an expense issue. If we can afford motorized, that's ideal. You control it from a single switch.
Don't say that out loud. It goes to his head, then,
Okay, go ahead.
I was admiring.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
it's the
re-
work of the entire team, frankly. I mean, I think we've all spent, collectively, we've all spent a lot of time on this one.
We've
Just-
been
it's-
at this
yeah.
for,
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years.
and the color changed as recently as yesterday to a winner. So,
That's all right. Annie, remember what happened to Rosewood? With me and Barney, like the day before?
I don't know if there's room. But
Annie's gone through that before, this last minute panic.
Oh, I forgot you've never seen this.
So from inside,
just a few.
again, the floor-to-ceiling glass provides that incredible transition from inside to outside. We're thinking about it as I keep referring to this space as the living room. It can be outfitted with furniture. We've got a really nice furniture budget, so we'll be able to get all new furniture in the space. And it can be outfitted in whatever manner you'd like, but there's obviously a lot of really nice historic images that we're thinking about finding a home for. That would be along this south wall potentially. But we call this the living room because there's that existing fireplace, so we thought perhaps there'd be a different kind of furniture in this vicinity, in that transition zone between dining lounge and pro shop, which is just to the left in this image. Did I miss one? No. Okay. And then around the other side here to where the bar is. So here's the bar countertop. You can imagine coolers, counters to your left, and behind you, TVs perhaps. Lounge furniture looking out, and then off to the right, that's the ninth hole to the right. So you number 1T, number 7T here, and 18 green here, and number 9 green off to the right.
We could go back for a second. Is there going to be, and I know you have those rectangle tables, is there going to be a room for square tables?
There's square tables in the bottom right.
Yeah,
Where,
Right in front.
I think these are square tables.
out there?
Yeah.
Well, those
They
are
can be.
fun-
We can get whatever tables we want.
The reason I say that because a lot of people
so you
play
have a foursome that can sit on
cards,
table.
Yeah.
cards, and
Yeah.
whatever those games are,
Sure.
canasta, whatever those.
Mahjong and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
still is.
because I have a feeling this may be a destination for people to come and play cards and other
Right.
things because it's going to be such an attractive facility.
Right. Year round.
Yeah, and so much to that point, so I was hearing you talking about the shop.
The pro shop.
The pro shop.
Mhm.
So I heard something that they're planning this minimal, whatever. And
Yeah, minimal merchandise.
That sounds like it was a choice,
It was.
again. And I'm just wondering, and I'm just saying this out loud, having not been part of that, is that the more people hang out, the greater chance that they'll go shopping.
No, the issue with regard to the pro shop is not the revenue that you derive from the pro shop. Where the issue is that you want the optics of the feeling when you walk in that you're coming to a golf course, and when you go to a golf course, you have shirts, you have sweats, you have all the golf, some of the paraphernalia that is displayed there. So we're sensitive to that because we want to make sure when you walk into that clubhouse area where the desks are to check in, that you feel like you're walking into a golf pro shop, because you don't make a lot of money off of that.
Oftentimes you'll lose money.
And so what we're trying to do is create an atmosphere, a feeling, more than a revenue-generating source. Where I'm talking about is, I think in the actual dining room area, I think, and I've seen this at Deerfield, is that it becomes a destination for non-golfers to come there because listen, a golf course is a beautiful facility. It's all the green, it's everything. And if it's done right, you can have non-golfers come there, whether it's to play cards, mahjong, canasta, whatever these games are that people play. That this is a destination because that could be revenue generating because those people will eat.
I get it.
Do we have
Okay.
room for all those people? If we're saying there's gonna be a lot more golfers, and then how do we?
Well, and certainly in the off-season, you'll see more, obviously, non-golf activity with cards, and we'll want people to come.
Right.
Yes.
I'm thinking more.
Are we going to
not-
keep this open year-round?
That's
Like
the
we do.
plan.
The club, not the course.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You have to make reservations and
Yeah.
Interesting.
Shea Sunset.
So
go there,
Well,
you go
yeah,
there, go there for lunch.
Well,
So
you
the
get,
people that are eating there, the people that are hanging around, you're going to be directing them more towards the dining.
Well, they can sit outside. There's going to be
Yes.
areas to sit outside if they want to, depending on
I'm
the
just
weather.
more concerned with the card playing and all that being more like, I don't want to become territorial. Well, this is Morty and I. We always sit here. It's like whoa. We don't want to get into.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think because really when golfers come there, they come there to play golf, and
I don't know
golf
where I
is
even got that.
and golf is a very time-consuming endeavor because it's between 4 and 5 hours. It's really there's got to be place for the golfers to come after when they play, whether they play early in the morning and they come in lunch, or they play in the afternoon and they enjoy a beverage after their round.
Yeah.
Is that I don't anticipate that to be an issue, and that's also during
It's
the
more
week.
It's
Yeah.
more the card players. I'm not concerned.
That would be more the
about-
week. I
Yeah,
think the
that'll be
weekend, I think
weekdays.
you're going to have less issues.
Okay.
Because it'll be really
And more in the off-season than the
Okay,
peak
all right.
season.
That's it. Like I said, I just want it's a residential facility, but still we're really targeting it's for the golfers.
Yes.
I just don't want to.
Well, let's be careful. We're targeting, it's aimed for the golfers, but this will be such an attractive facility that there's no reason why you can't go there for lunch as a non-golfer and enjoy the atmosphere.
Right, and I think that, we talk about it becoming a year-round facility, but obviously we're going to need to work with food vendors because it was, depending upon what we've got, getting some, a restaurateur or concession person wanting to be there year-round, we're going to have to show them something that is going to make them want to do that. The golf season will be a non-issue, but it's going to be the off-season and how we can attract them to want to be the vendor.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
But that's our vision for sure.
so if someone wanted to rent out this facility, let's say in November, you have a nice fireplace. I mean, how many people will this facility hold? What size party can you have in this facility?
Not using the tent.
Not using the
Indoor only.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess it's a question of what's the occupancy certificate.
we've anticipated there potentially being some kind of ability to screen this off so that the pro shop could be closed off from the dining area. We're still working through the details of that so that it's code compliant to do so. But that would allow the pro shop to be secured and any merchandise in it to be secured, and then the dining area here to remain open. But the question about the number of people is really just a product of how many people we can fit in this space here. So the space is safe enough for 100 people, for example. There's enough doorways and pathways out for a bunch of people. Are they comfortable in this space? That's a matter of how you're going to configure it. I mean, if you configure using banquet tables, it's like one person per 10 square
Yeah,
feet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
100 is,
Andy, what's the approximate square footage of that area compared to the interpretive center?
it's probably a couple hundred square feet bigger.
Okay, and how many people do we have in the interpretive center?
50.
50.
See,
Yeah.
except the interpretive center is completely open. Here you have a bar, which is kind of,
But-
where the interpretive center is completely open.
But
and
the
you-
usable square footage here is bigger than
Yeah.
interpretive center.
Yeah.
It's just configured differently.
Mhm.
I'm actually
Right.
thinking it more like a winter yacht club almost. Right? I mean, that's got more open space. I don't know what the exact square footage of that is.
Smaller, much smaller.
But, yeah, I see the possibilities.
I'm just curious. Okay.
So it's all driven by code.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many
Fire
people-
department will weigh
Yeah.
in on this.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that'd be another revenue source from this building.
Yep.
Okay. So then to the budget, which is
Can't read it.
legible on your screen or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can increase it if you want.
Yeah, could you make it look like this?
Yep.
Increase our mine too. That went the wrong way. There you go.
I'm working on it.
I got it. I'm wearing my glasses.
You can make it big. You can make it bigger
It's
on here.
touchy.
I guess we could do it manually, right?
Hold on. I
Yeah.
got it.
In the bottom left-hand corner.
I know everybody.
There we go.
No, I'm saying to Lori, not you.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Good?
Yes.
Okay. So the way, again, that we've been working through this is we've been starting with the total budget for the entire course renovation. Then we subtract off the actual course, golf course. So this is the total project budget. Here's the costs dedicated to the golf course proper, leaving clubhouse renovation budget of this amount. We back off some soft cost and contingencies. So 5% project contingency, engineering fees, FF&E, so fixtures, furnishings, equipment, kitchen equipment. So like I said, $175,000. So plenty of money for new kitchen equipment as needed, furniture for the facility here. Leaves us this amount for hard construction costs. The base plan that we demonstrated for you today, the construction manager, W.B. Olson, same CM for Rosewood, has budgeted at just about $1 million. So if we add our hard costs plus our soft costs here, oh, and I should mention that this $1 million carries an additional 5% contingency. So we've got a total of 10% in the project budget. So about $200,000 in contingencies. That leaves us a remaining budget of 480 here. Then we start to add in the alternates. Okay, so patio, there's some grading work, there's demo work, there's removing that planter, foundation costs, 100,000. Wood trellis, about 90,000. The switching the cart from the north to the south, so that's the removal of the service drive, some additional asphalt to the south, it's about 25,000. And then that fourth alternate, which is moving the tent and then the bag drop, we've split into two. Moving the tent is about 40,000 to move the tent from the south over to the west.
Is it just moving the tent, or is it also the landscaping?
Yes. It's the removal of all that concrete pad that's there currently, the landscaping to restore it, and then the decorative concrete over to the west side of the clubhouse where the new tent will go.
Is any of this area going to be irrigated? Are you going to have sprinklers?
We have sprinklers now.
You do? Okay.
What about cart storage?
Same.
Cart storage stays in the barn to
Yeah.
the west
Yeah.
side of the south parking lot.
Are we gonna paint that or do something?
We talked about landscaping around it. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah. Just hide it.
Yeah.
You won't be able to see it. if you
No,
landscape it.
that's what hide it's
Yeah.
fine.
And a new bag drop.
And then the new bag drop, which is actually pretty simple. We have to remove some asphalt to change some of the grading in the parking lot, but it's pretty simple. It's not a lot of curb work, so you can see the cost isn't dramatic for that. But in total, all those alternates you can see are being budgeted at about $300,000, which is why we've added them later, because it adds a large percentage of money to the overall project cost.
Where's the parking lot improvements?
That's built into that base number.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And that's really pretty minimal. I mean, we're talking about like $15,000 to seal coat and restripe the parking lot.
Will that have to be done?
That's a good question that I don't know a good answer to.
Like 5 to 7,
5, 7 years?
yeah, depending upon its wear and tear.
What about lighting? Is that factored in, any kind of lighting in the parking lot?
Just the existing lighting in the parking lots.
What about around the building, around the new clubhouse?
Yes,
Is there new
so-
lighting?
Yes, so in some of the renderings, I didn't call it out, and I should have. There's some nice new bollards along the walkways to walk
That's
the
all,
walkway lights,
yeah.
and then there's some lights to uplight into the trellis. That's all in these numbers.
Do we have existing lighting in the parking lot?
Yeah,
Just the tall.
not very much, but there's
I
some.
just don't remember. I've never been there.
You're not there at
That's
night.
more nice.
At night.
Just a couple poles, yeah.
But if we're gonna open it like this,
For parties or.
Yeah, and there also may be some lighting in the trees like Ravinia.
right,
Because,
do we need to add lighting
yeah,
if we're gonna open it at night for safety?
yeah.
Well, that's where we get into the budget balance,
This-
if
and-
we're gonna look
The
into
remaining
lighting for the.
budget.
And then that also,
Which we should do.
and that also can enter the conversation regarding electric
Carts.
carts.
Mm-hmm. And the electric car charging station.
Yes.
But if we're gonna have nighttime events here, we need to have
Yeah.
better lighting. in
Yeah,
the
we'll
parking
figure that
lot,
out.
in both those parking lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, the electric car charging station would be excellent here.
I think that we agreed when we talked Pogo that that's where we were gonna put it.
The electric car charge?
No, the,
Oh.
for car charger.
For vehicles.
Okay.
In the parking lot here at the clubhouse.
Yeah.
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 For those who have electric cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just an appropriate time. It's a good
It's
time
like-
frame. It's not an all-day activity. It's a few-hour activity. That's how long it takes to charge a car. So it's a nice amenity, I think.
And maybe if we're lucky, we can get an auto dealer to sponsor it.
Yeah.
Tesla.
They sell enough junk bonds, they can help.
This is very exciting.
Tesla.
Yes, it's great.
Very exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so again, Andy, you're saying that right now, all in quotes, we have approximately a $200,000 balance in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
In the numbers is approximately a 10% contingency.
Yeah, about 200,000.
That's about $200,000.
190. Yeah.
What about the water? What's this about the 6-inch in water main?
Okay, so we need to sprinkle the building. Let me back out.
Do we need a pump?
No, we don't need a pump, but what we need is a large enough water main to be able to provide the necessary amount of water to sprinkle the building. So we're currently working with the civil engineer and the city to figure out exactly where we have to go for that water main. So we think we have to go back to here for that water main.
So we have to run a 6-inch pipe from there to the
Yeah.
clubhouse?
Yeah.
Where's the hydrant? Isn't there a,
Existing hydrant in the corner of the.
it's way over there?
Yeah.
I think by code, we'll also have to include a hydrant.
Which is, how big of a line is that? That's probably a 6-inch line. So the point is, we probably will have to put a new hydrant in with the 6-inch line.
Yeah.
So that's coming out of the 200,000 that's left?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What about any, is the city going to contribute and improve the roadway directly into the, maybe we can work with our friends with the city so they can maybe asphalt that
Is that
road
the
or
purpose?
something.
Okay,
for us.
next
Is that
question.
the purpose of the meeting?
Next question.
Okay. All right.
I'd like
Wait, I'm sorry, did you say the water service is not factored into these numbers?
We're,
I thought we had put 100,000 in.
we have, I don't know the exact line item amount. There is water service amount in our budget,
Yeah,
but we just don't know if it's enough because we don't know the full scope that's going to be required.
Okay.
Okay, so they have
I knew
100,000.
we had a placeholder.
We do.
And this is potentially a big issue.
It's a big question.
It's a
based on
big,
90-foot run.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think with us working with Wall Hamilton, if you go to Court Avenue, that maintenance is 280 feet, so
Okay.
it multiplies pretty quick.
Okay,
Yep.
but we have 100,000 to start, and then somewhere, so it's not all coming out of this 200,000.
No, we have in the base bid
All right.
like a reasonable assumption.
Okay.
And as we work through the details, I mean, the whole cost of sprinklering the building is a dramatic cost. That cost is in here, but there's just too many unknowns still
Okay,
in negotiations with the city.
got it,
Okay,
got it.
I want to just ask you about the tent.
Yep.
How many square feet is that tent?
Well, the tent can really, the pad that you see here demonstrated by this paving
Yeah.
pattern is 2,000 square feet. So this
It's
is
not very big.
2,000
Yeah.
square feet. 2,000 square feet at one person per 10 square feet, which is pretty standard when you start laying out banquet facilities, is 200 people. So if the tent were this large, we could fit 200 people. Now, you wouldn't get a buffet line, and you wouldn't get a dance floor, and you wouldn't get a band.
Okay.
So you start to add those things, and the 200 drops down. But 200 is also bigger than any golf outing that you would have. So you've got some play in there.
And then what would the distance be between the tent and the first tee then?
Oh, I don't know, I mean, including
Is
the
this the
steps
scale?
up the.
Is this the scale?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it's
this is
40
the-
feet or something.
Oh,
It's
okay.
nothing.
So, okay.
Yeah, you're right there.
So could you have a wedding there?
Sure.
Tell me how that would work.
You get a police service.
Hold on.
Which part of
Get down on one knee and you.
Andy?
I think we
you
have
ask how we
to be
have kids after
careful.
No, what I mean is, what would that look like? Because like you said,
far.
there's no dance floor.
I don't
so-
think we're there yet on
Okay,
what
'cause-
we're going to
because
be
what-
programming.
Well,
in
the reason
tent.
why the reason why we think it's a nice idea to move the tent out to the west is that with the clubhouse renovation and then the patio and trellis and then the tent, you actually get a sequence of really nice spaces that could all work in harmony.
Okay.
So if the dance floor were to be under the tent, you also have to consider you have those 1,500 to 2,000 square feet inside the building where you could have additional seating.
Right.
You have windows and doors that could be open to make
Trellis as well.
right underneath the trellis as well. So you can really seat people across a wide variety of spaces.
Because I don't think that the country club is really a wedding destination. That's more bar mitzvahs, showers, meetings.
There's a lot of weddings there.
A lot of
Well,
weddings
hold on a
there.
second.
My niece got married there.
Okay. Okay.
And when we fix it up, it's
This-
going to be
okay,
even
but-
It'll
more.
be better.
This is different. People like to get married on golf courses and
Yeah.
all that. So
Sure.
I think that would be a really.
This would be a
nice-
smaller wedding. It's a smaller
Right.
facility.
But we also will be having golf there 7 days a week in the summer until the evening. So
Okay, that's a good
it's
point.
it's not like a country club where you have, you could have the ballroom in the country club and have a wedding.
Right. Okay. That's
So-
a good point.
Are we constrained by the number of people?
Unless we got a four-season card.
Hey,
With heat.
Hey, Mom.
Right.
you can't.
Right.
You can't talk when she talks.
It's okay.
Was she recognized, by the way?
Yes, it's your mother. And Andy, just for,
Yeah.
for everyone's understanding, are we constrained by the number of people that could be in this facility under our tent by the number of bathrooms?
Well, first of all, I think the facility has a ton of bathrooms. So I can't tell you off the top of my head, but 8 fixtures in a facility like this would afford you probably as many people as we've talked about under the tent.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
that-
And the
Beta
tent
mode
is
again?
temporary.
I understand.
So
I know. I
there's
totally
no, I
understand
don't think
that.
there's a code that will
But
kick in with
what
a
I
tent.
was trying to make sure is we don't have to bring it, if you have the tent and somebody says, I'm having 200 people, you have to get the porta potties or something.
Right.
Where would the tent be stored?
In the barn.
In the car park.
Yeah, in the cart barn.
Okay.
Well, there's a couple. First of all, this is an operational question, and I don't think we know the
Yeah.
exact answer to that. But is the tent,
It's either the cart burn or pogo.
or it's rented?
Yeah. Depends on how.
So it just
what our
depends on
business
how
looks
often you
like.
use it, and do you really want to own a tent, and all that kind of
Well,
thing.
is
But it
it-
could be stored in a variety of places, or you could have somebody come out and set it up.
Is it in your budget? Is the tent in the budget?
No.
The tent is not in the budget, but again, that goes to the $175,000 in fixtures and furnishings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know have an idea what a tent costs?
No, actually.
How about you don't buy a tent until you see that there's a
Yeah.
A need for it.
And what
Right.
about
Just curious.
and what about the shades, the blinds or the shades?
That goes in the
If
FF&E.
it's automatic, what are we talking price wise? Is it significant?
Yeah,
Like
it's
what?
significant. Well, $20,000.
Okay, because I think that's worth visiting.
You do. Why?
Because I don't think people should be touching it manually. This way, it's a button and it's staff only, where you get people. Oh, I'm just gonna, it's not for people to touch, like at the rec center.
We'll just add that in as another alternate
Okay.
in the
Yeah, I'd
budgeting,
be
in the
curious
bidding
about
of the
that.
project.
And I think it's also another, it's like another,
Amenity.
just a nice
Okay.
A nice amenity.
presentation.
I just had, okay. This is very exciting.
It's very exciting. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Can we see that one picture showing it at night again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Go to sleep dreaming about it.
Barney, for your bar mitzvah.
Did we do all the?
Should we explain that to people?
Yeah. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, I need a,
I don't know that
I need a
code
beer.
would allow that.
Me too.
So these
summer
like, is this like,
shanty right there.
is this like a knee wall, or people could sit on the?
Yes.
That's the entire.
Yeah,
thing?
so there's those of you that know the course knows that there's that slight elevation change. You kind of step out of the clubhouse. We're going to come out of the clubhouse on grade at that patio and then step down, and that represents an 18 to 24 inch grade change. So it's a really nice bench area and seating area there.
Very great.
It's beautiful.
Okay, great.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan. Thank you.
So how does this wedding work again?
Wishful
I'm
thinking.
not making fun
It's
of
wishful thinking, Barney. I'm thinking ahead.
I'm not making fun. I think it was a great question about how it would
Rex,
flow.
Rex
I
Center.
didn't know people got married at the rec center because it's so. A wedding there?
Gazebo's nice.
The gazebo.
Oh, yeah.
As a
But
matter
what
of
it's
fact,
not
I think
flooded?
there's
Is
one
that
coming up.
underwater?
Marriage is not a word; it's a sentence.
Mitch, are you ready to present on the Rec Center Highland Park renovation outcome?
I am.
Marriage is not a word, it's a sentence.
Marriage is a commitment. It's a lifetime.
Okay.
Well,
That's a tough act to follow.
it is all three of it's a tough act to follow. But
You
it's
got any
it's
news for us?
What's that?
Any surprise? Any special news like Amelia?
Yes, Mitch is pregnant.
Nothing?
Oh no,
Really?
nothing that
Okay.
special. No. But it is an exciting month at the rec center because we are kind of in the home stretch of this project. We'll spend a lot of time in the presentation about the final phase of the project at the end of the month, which gets us to the finish line. But just to kind of go quickly through an overview, the project started in March, and the first phase of this project was the conversion of the multipurpose rooms into the new main group exercise studio. And so that phase is now complete, opened on the 26th of June. It's been well received by the community and the membership. We've moved all of the classes now down that were in the main studio down to the lower level studio. And we've, in the summer, we've been able to add some new kind of innovative classes with some of the new equipment, the Queen X machine, and I would expect to see a lot more of that happen in the fall, especially with the new studio upstairs as well. So the second phase of the project did get kicked off while phase one was still going. So that specific area that was started in April was this trainer's office, the supervisor's office, fitness supervisor office, and this locker area. That was demoed. The drywall, paint, glass have all been finished in that area. And so while things like carpet and furniture have to be moved into that area, this is structurally pretty much done. And that temporary wall that used to be there is now down, and if you visit the rec center, you see that's just kind of a plastic coating over it right now. The training studio here, that demo started as soon as we finished phase one. And so that demo occurred from June 26th through the 7th of July. After that was complete, we were able to do framing and drywall and this floor leveling, which was not a surprise, but it was complexity to the upper level project, which was basically about a little over 2 inches on that 1,300 square feet of old studio needed to be infilled with concrete to level to the rest of the upper level floor. I have a photo of that here in a second to kind of show you what happened with that. But the rest of the timeline really with phase 2 is it's concentrated inside the training studio and the new fitness floor space, working on the ceiling, putting the grid in for the ceiling, the acoustical tiles, painting, doing the new lighting, and of course that involves electrical and some HVAC balancing and redistribution. And that would get us to August the 21st, which is then the next phase that we'll get into and kind of that final push. A couple quick photos. This is that infill we were talking about. So on July 14th, we basically brought in 2 cement mixer trucks, ran a hose line up to the old group exercise studio, and you can see that hose is sitting right here. This is a shot from inside the new personal training studio out into the new open fitness floor area. So you can see that this was a framed wall that divided the 2 rooms. And we have our 2 workers there that are leveling out the concrete. There's no disruption to membership on this day. We were able to do it in a pretty short time frame of getting the concrete in there in about 3.5 hours, and then the leveling took really the majority of the rest of the day. And that is a picture today. This picture is actually looking the opposite direction. So this is now actually in the free weight area, which would be the new free weight area, looking into the studio. So you can see it's obviously all been drywalled now. In this area on the drywall, this is where we would have mirrors. This area is where the storefront glazing glass would go, and that would wrap all the way down through here where this temporary wall currently is. And then this would be the entry into that area. It doesn't necessarily, this picture, do it good justice of how much space that we're actually gaining. I think that other picture actually maybe even shows a little bit better of how much space we're gaining. This is a shot kind of down in this area, taking a shot over into the new membership services supervisor's office. So in this picture, that shot is like right here. So this gets us then into phase 3, and that next slide, I apologize how small that is, but basically there's a lot of work that's going to happen in phase 3. And instead of we thought maybe it might be better to try to paint that picture chronologically for you, to go through each day during shutdown, what's going to happen. And when as a caveat here, like when I say paint, obviously all the painting is not going to be done on August 14th. It just starts that day, and in the case of painting, it will probably take several weeks for us to get all of the painting done. So on August 14th, which is next Monday, we are going to start the paint in the upper level early so that we do stay on time and can open on time on September the 1st. Just like with any other thing with this project, we're going to limit the disruption to membership. We will work really closely with the painter and bowler to make sure that disruption is very limited. And it will mostly be in like the corridor areas, not in the actual fitness center that week that we're still open. On August the 18th, we close KidFit, and KidFit will then remain closed until the 1st when we reopen. One of the reasons we're doing that is KidFit is going to get a little bit of a facelift as part of this project. But really why we need that on Friday is we're going to mobilize our flooring, meaning we're going to get all the flooring on site so that come Monday, that first day of closure, we're not spending time trying to move flooring in. It'll just be there ready. So we'll use KidFit to store all of that. It's a lot of flooring. The whole upper level is getting recarpeted, so we do need some space for that.
What kind of changes are you making to KidFit?
So KidFit is basically going to get new flooring, so new tile flooring, new carpet that will match the carpet that's going to go on the rest of the upper level. It got reconfigured just a little bit based off of how the membership retreat is. So it was a net zero gain or loss. It's just reconfigured a little bit differently. To most members, they wouldn't really notice a big change to it as far as what it would really look like. But they'll get a fresh coat of paint as well.
One of the suggestions I had made was to do, have the glass, I don't know what it's called, when parents can see in, but kids can't see out. Will we be able to do that?
You mean in the door area or in the glass that kind of looks out into the fitness
No,
area?
the door area.
Yeah, so right now for this part of the project, we have not changed the door to KidFit. So the door will stay the same.
Okay.
It's something that we could consider in a future project. It just wasn't budgeted for this project. I know we have doors that are going to get replaced throughout several years because of things like our fob system. And so right now that we don't have that, though, included in this project. So on the 20th, which is the Sunday, that's when when we close on Sunday, we are closed for our annual maintenance shutdown. So the whole building would then be closed starting on August 21st. But on the 20th, we actually go in and we'll move all the cardio equipment off the floor. This is typically what we do during shutdown. We'll move that onto the track. We are actually going to leave the strength equipment because we do have all new strength equipment that's going to come in. So on the 21st, we have a contractor that'll come in and extract all that equipment at 6 in the morning so that when Bowler and their team start arriving at 7, 8, they can start to get to their areas with no disruption. So there's a lot
Are we selling it?
we traded it in.
Oh, we traded it? Okay. All right.
So that once that equipment is gone, this whole area is open for all the work that needs to get done. So the temporary walls would all come down. We would start removing all of the flooring. And we'll start with the installation of mirrors, glass, and then carpet first in the areas that right now are ready to be carpeted, like the offices and the locker area.
Is that a half wall at the stretching area? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, it's a knee wall.
That's new.
On the 22nd, we expect to have our mill worker on site, and he'll be spending several days to do the locker area and the desk. So the locker area is going to be located here, and then the desk will actually be located out here. And then that's because the flooring will now be out and being started to be laid down. We can then start our KidFit work at that time. On the 23rd, rubber flooring installation, which is going to be everything here in this darker gray, stretching area 2. That'll start on the 23rd. I'm going to come back to that in 1 second, just kind of talk through what everything is going to happen on the 23rd and actually the importance of the timing on the rubber flooring installation. So on the 23rd, the rest of the carpet installation will continue on the upper level. They'll be working on ceiling and the acoustics, so basically tying in the ceiling so that it matches the new areas. The knee wall for the track access, so the masonry knee wall will start at that time, as well as then the knee wall in the stretching area. So there's a big gap here between the 23rd and the 30th, and like I said, most of these projects will take several days, if not a week, to finish. The rubber flooring is probably the most complex piece to this whole project, at least this phase. So on the 21st, this area that is currently still being utilized in the free weight area, they'll start the extraction of the floor, the rubber floor. They have a little bit of it behind the temporary wall right now, so they've been able to figure out how hard it's going to be to remove it, and it's very difficult. So Bowler has rented a piece of equipment that's going to help assist them, but we really need that up in 2 days. We need it off, we need it prepped, so that on the 23rd, Kiefer, the specialty flooring company, can come in and install that rubber flooring. It will take them about 4 days to do that, so that would take us to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the 26th. They would finish at that point. And the manufacturer's recommendation is that you have 72 hours before you put any equipment on it. So we need them to be done on the 26th so that we have the rest on the 27th, that Sunday, 28th, and 29th. Because Wednesday, the 30th, we have the first components of equipment coming in. First of that is going to be the Queen X wall unit, which is going to sit right here. That'll be installed on the 30th. We'll move all the cardio equipment in on the 30th. And then on the 31st, all of the strength equipment comes in. So again, that should give us the necessary time frame that the manufacturer is recommending to let that floor sit before you put heavy equipment on top of it. And at the end of the end of the 31st, we should be ready to open then on Friday the 1st.
Are you changing any of the TVs?
No, so actually we're adding one TV to the stretching area. So back here, there'll be one TV that'll be added. And right now, with kind of all of the new cardio equipment that we purchased typically now has televisions. There hasn't been a really big desire, to enhance those TVs. We've been investing more money on the equipment to make sure it has a TV for the user. The July financial report shows that we did start to utilize some contingency dollars. We do, at this point, though, still believe we'll be on time and on budget. And that timing is listed here. Again, with the estimated opening to the public on Friday, September the 1st. We are working with our marketing team as well to do some type of event, but because that's Labor Day weekend, we thought let's do something probably on Tuesday. More of a bring the community out, see the new rec center. But if it's ready to go, we should be obviously opening in more of a soft opening approach on Friday the 1st.
It's a tall order.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Kid Fit.
Yep.
It looks incredible. The doors are don't they have a window in them? It's like a vertical
Yeah, it's a small
rectangle.
Yep.
Yeah. Can we do that? Can we change that versus changing the whole door temporarily? That's one thing. Is a young family wrap and just
But wait. I think that the person on the inside needs to see the person on the outside before they open the door.
Well, but they have the whole glass. There's still other ways. Here's the thing. It's very stressful. Kid Fit is very few kids even want to be there, and it's peace of mind for the mom to be able to leave the child. They stand out there all the time. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've asked. They've asked. Can you go check on my kid? And part of the experience for a mom to go work out is to not be stressed. So once they can see, okay, my kid's fine, then they want to take off. So, what else can we do to make it visually, accessible to the mom without it disrupting all the other children? Or, do you see what I'm trying to say? Like,
But aren't there glass walls there already?
yeah, but it's on the other side.
By the track?
Where the old
What do they
offices
call
used
it,
to
a
be.
side light?
Yeah, that
That's
one.
what's in the door now.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
side light.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. This is completely different. This is when you drop your kids over to the side. They just want to peek in versus standing there in front of the glass. Trust me on this one.
You're not talking, so you're just talking about doing something with that small window in the door,
Yeah,
not the
so-
glass itself that looks into the atrium.
No, just something very subtle, something that won't, impede the child care people from looking out or letting people in or whatever. But it's letting the parents see that their kid's okay without cracking the door open, setting someone else in, something like that.
We can certainly look at that.
Yeah, could we? Because this has also been an issue here at Mom's Morning Away. This has been going on since my children were little. Kids are screaming. Parents can't see. We're not allowed to go in, which we understand because then it makes the other kids cry. But it really is, like I said, peace of mind knowing that your kid's okay, or even if they're screaming, well, you see that Miss Linda's holding your child. Something like that. It's definitely a concern when you drop off a kid. As is, we were in spin class and then you see Kathleen come in. It's like, she's here to get somebody, So anything we can do to just make it less stressful so they can enjoy a workout.
Okay, yeah, we can look into it.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mitch.
Okay, thank you.
What else are we building?
We're not building anything anymore.
We're building memories.
We're talking about Parks Foundation.
So the Parks Foundation is going to help us pay for all the things we're building.
Nice segue.
So at any rate, well, they could be helping us pay for future things, certainly. So back in, I think it was at the July workshop meeting, we presented a copy of the MOU to both the park board and the foundation board, and we have reviewed the memo with, well, we talked with you, and we didn't, the only outstanding question that we had from both groups dealt with insurance, and the insurance
Andy.
for the.
Thank you, Andy. Have a good night.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See you. Was that the foundation will be covered under Paderma, under the Park District policy. So that really cleared any questions in that area. And really, as we explained in July, that the memorandum of understanding, it really identifies how the Park District and the foundation, which are two separate entities, will work together, communicate together, deal with donors together, et cetera. So I'm not since we've talked about it, I'm happy to go through any of this, but at this point, I think that we are good to go. So we are scheduled to approve this at the Parks Foundation meeting next Tuesday night, and then we would have the MOU, a clean copy, on the agenda, on the consent agenda for our August regular meeting.
Perfect. Thank you.
Certainly.
Review of vouchers.
The bills presented for the board's review on August 8th are checks written from July 31st through August 3rd, 2017. They total $1,410,363.30. They are all budgeted expenditures, and nothing was out of the ordinary.
Thank you. Any questions? Look at them. Does anyone from the public want to address the board? Mrs. B, Mr. S? Okay. Is it? We are?
Yes, we are.
How do you think the Bernsteins get fed?
There's a lot of Bernstein.
Yeah.
Yes.
She takes care of some of her Park District funds, too.
I haven't gotten my payoff.
Yeah, my Gestapo. Okay. Is there a motion to go into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Open Meeting Act?
All of those, yes.
All of those, yes.
I move.
I'll second.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Bernstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Flores Weiskopf?
Aye.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Aye.
Vice President Ruttenberg?
Aye.
President Kaplan?
Aye. We're in closed starting at 7:45.
How long does it take to close to go?
I don't-
Can we do restroom?